Welcome to MoocLab's interview series called Life-Changing Experiences of Learning with MOOCs. My name is Carolyn McIntyre. I'm CEO of MoocLab.club, a community website connecting people to online learning. Today I'll be talking to Nico Marzian from Germany. Nico has completed 19 MOOCs in total so far, and he has also supported another one as a community TA on the edX platform. Nico has in fact already given a written interview for the series talking about his experiences of online education and MOOCs, but in this video interview we'll be talking about his practical approach to learning with MOOCs. So over to Germany we go, where hopefully Nico is waiting for us. Good morning, Nico.
Yeah, good morning, Carolyn. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you, Nico, and thank you very much for taking part in this series.
Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity to hopefully contribute something of a little value.
Well, I'm sure it'll be very interesting for our readers and viewers. So you, as I said, have already completed 19 MOOCs. You've also taken part as a community TA. So you have quite a lot of experience of this type of learning. So I would like to ask you a few questions about how you actually go about studying MOOCs. So my first question is how you actually go about choosing a MOOC. What factors are important to you in choosing a MOOC to enroll in?
Normally, the first important point is that I go by my personal interest. So when a topic is speaking to me and catches my attention, then I will have a further look if this is who is doing it, what institution is behind it, and if it is of some potential value for my everyday work also. So ideally it comes together the personal interest and the professional interest. And so I go by searching through the lists, course lists, or I look for articles on latest MOOCs. And so I have a very basic idea what I can expect, and maybe I get some recommendation from very close fellow learners from other MOOCs that I can trust very much because I know what they prefer and how they value things. And so this is a mixture how to find what might be of interest for me.
And do you ever use course reviews? For example, the site Course Talk offers a lot of reviews of courses. Do you use those to help you choose?
Sometimes I look into them as well. I also wrote reviews myself. But actually for finding MOOCs, I did not use it as much as other sources. So normally I go more by the course list and personal recommendations.
Okay, thank you. And what about managing your time and assignment deadlines? Do you find that difficult, or what strategies do you use on top of it?
I always keep in mind that my everyday work has the top priority, of course. So and MOOCs can take a lot of time, and so normally I go by the description. When it says it takes maybe 4 or 8 hours per week, then maybe I add 25% to that value, or to start with the course, to be on the safe side, and I reserve normally Sunday for doing such kind of course. And when I find out that it is less necessary to do this course, then it is easily to be adapted. And when it is more, then I have to see how to rewrite my personal schedule. But as I try to not take too many courses at once, normally this works out very well. And whenever there's a free slot during the day, also during the week, maybe a break, then I will use this time also to keep close to running discussions and see what feedback is there and directly react.
Do you think that to study these types of courses you have to be very self-disciplined, and are you very self-disciplined?
If you really want to go deeply into the matter and want to have a very good outcome, then you should be disciplined, I think, yes. But this should not be too much of a difference compared to traditional education. When you go to university, you need to have a certain amount of discipline to get through it very well. So yes, you need it.
And we all know that one of the biggest issues with MOOCs and online learning is motivation and sticking at it and completing the course. How do you personally manage to keep motivated?
First of all, it should be the topic itself that motivates me. So I already said a little bit about how I choose MOOCs. So when the interest is very strong, then normally it is not a very big problem for me to get myself motivated. But of course, it always happens also with very interesting topics that it gets dry and maybe a little bit lengthy, and then it is the discipline that keeps me going. And of course, that I have in mind the result at the end that I want to see, and especially to learn as much as possible from that course. And this is my main motivation then altogether.
Great, thank you for that. And what would be really interesting to know is what techniques you use to actually learn while you're studying a MOOC. So for example, do you take notes? Do you use the discussion forums? Do you read around the subject? How do you actually go about learning?
Yeah, the discussion forums are very important for many of the courses that I took. So when it is really a good course, then naturally one flows into the discussions, and this is a very good possibility to get deeper into the matter. When it is done well, then the professors or teachers will moderate those discussions and give you feedback. This is the best case. And they also motivate the learners to interact with each other. And so also other learners have a lot of different insights to contribute. And so this is a real treasure that you can have this and learn from it. Then I also take notes, either handwritten on my old style notepad. When I have some thoughts, maybe I write an article about it, or just write down what goes through my mind, and maybe I make up some connections between what I learn in this very course that I take now and others that I had before, or other sources that I know about. Secondary literature, or what is linked in the courses. Very often there's provided a lot of good literature, and when it is a PDF that I can download directly, then normally I have a look into this. Or when I have something on my own bookshelf that might match, then I will look into this. And this would be a variety of possibilities.
And do you find that the peer reviewing is useful? Do you learn from that? Is that a positive experience for you?
I have to admit that so far I did not really see a good example. I know that.
How has it worked in your experience, this type of viewing?
The problem that I often see with MOOCs is when they are free and you really have a lot of people participating, then you also have many different motivations aboard. And some people just go through the course as fast as possible to get a certificate at the end. And they don't really engage. And I don't know how easy it can be avoided. It varies from course to course. Some courses you don't have it that much, and other courses you have it a lot. And because of that, I think it is so difficult to get really reliable ratings then in peer-reviewed assessments. When people just go through your text very briefly and don't really invest time to understand what you try to say or what is in between the lines, then very quickly you get a bad rating. Or people just say, come on, I don't want to be mean, I just give him the top grade or her, and this is not a good idea either. So I think this needs to have more moderation, and yeah, also maybe there had to be some how to do it. The people should be selected maybe also before they are qualified for taking such assessments, and not everybody should be forced to take it. Maybe for extra points, and only those people that really want to get into it should do it then. But I don't have a real solution yet. Just so far, it did not work out as well as it could, probably.
Have you had experience of other forms of grading in MOOCs that's not peer assessment?
Excuse me, I did not get.
Have you had experience of other forms of grading techniques used in MOOCs that's doesn't involve peer reviews?
Yeah, it is also there are the possibilities that you rate yourself, and I don't know if this is really working that well either. But other possibilities I don't know about yet. So
yes, it's a big
options that I know.
It's a big sort of discussion point, I think, in the development side of MOOCs, is how to improve assessment to make it more viable and more credible.
Yeah,
and there is, as you say, there is quite a lot of work to be done on that front, I think.
Yes, I think it is much about integration of learners, and when you take them at their hands and guide them through the process, then it might be easier to get good results. I'm pretty much convinced that much is about moderation.
Absolutely, yes. And from your personal experience, do you learn as much from a MOOC as you do from a traditional face-to-face class?
Yeah, potentially, yes. When I think about China X from Harvard, this was a program where I learned a tremendous lot of things from all kinds of categories. And but this was a MOOC series that went for 18 months altogether. I started a little bit later, but I took the whole series, and I got very much out of it. And I think you can say that this is very much comparable to traditional education, also at a university. Of course, sometimes you need to go more into depth, and you should keep on learning to really get to some expertise. But it is a model that is really worth following.
So you would put China X up there as a great example for others to follow?
For me, this is the absolutely best example of a MOOC so far, yes. I had other very good ones, but China X was really very rewarding and highly exciting.
Yeah, it's not the first time I've heard people say that.
I think so.
And can you tell me what your thoughts are on verified certificates? Do you choose to pay for these certificates or not?
When I think about Coursera, then normally you have to pay to get a certificate at all. So when the certificate seems to be worth it, I will pay. I did it twice. So, but when I look at edX, the motivation is another. When the course is really very good, then I just want to support it also. And I know that it is much effort, much time to invest in creating such a MOOC, and to keep it running, and to also have an argument for the makers to really invest that time, they should have some financial reward also. And so this is my main motivation at edX then. So
that's very charitable of you.
Oh, thank you. But you get something for it. So it is a win-win situation. When I think about China X again, then for the first run of it, on Modern China, you had 5 modules. And when you did them on the verified track, then you got an overall certificate for the whole X series. So and I think this is something of value also. So it's win-win.
And from an employer's point of view, if you were to employ somebody, would you consider a MOOC on their CV as something that adds value to their resume or not?
I think it is not common that employers do this, at least not yet, but I would do it definitely. Because I know it firsthand. I did several courses and I learned very much of it. And I was able to grow my personal and also professional network. I got new ideas and inspiration. And I think that these are some of the most important aspects of education. And when I see that somebody took MOOCs, maybe some that I know myself, and maybe I got to know this person then also over this course, then the probability is quite high that I would consider him or her, yes.
Yeah, as you say, it's because you have experience of it yourself. Unfortunately, a lot of employers are very unfamiliar with the whole concept, so it's going to take a while. But I think we will get there.
I think so too. And in my written answers, I also said a little bit about that. I think that the future of in-company education might pretty much also be based on models like MOOCs or SPOCs or whatever. So there's much to be learned from this.
Absolutely. And given your experience, what words of advice would you give to someone who's about to start out with MOOCs?
I already said something before. I would say that one should never take too many MOOCs at one time. It is not easy to resist. I know that, because there are a lot of courses to choose from that are really very fascinating, and they have to offer so much. But when you want to do it well and you want to have a good outcome, you have to invest the time, normally at least what is given in the description, and one has to have a life beside MOOCs and work, and one also has to concentrate on the everyday work, because you have to make a living somehow. So don't take too many MOOCs. This would be my first advice, yes.
Yes, very wise words, I think, there. And finally, Nico, obviously you've had experience of good and less good MOOCs. What would you like to see improved in the way MOOCs are delivered?
Yeah, it is always the same topic for me. It is moderation. It is to integrate the people, the learners, and also as the teachers to integrate oneself. Because the internet, the World Wide Web, the biggest benefit of this all is that you have the possibility to have a real interaction. You have 2 channels. 2 directions, and to just have one direction is wasting most of the potential. And you can also see it whenever you have a course, even with highly complex matters. As soon as the staff is really engaging and going into dialogues with the learners, then normally it works very well. And then you have courses, I think about Future Cities by ETH Zurich, for example. The meta is really great. They did a tremendously good job, a brilliant job setting up those 2 courses so far. But they are lacking a little bit of interaction. And then you go into the discussion forums and you see wonderful answers, but there's no real exchange happening. Then you make yourself, you take yourself the time and write an answer, and then you see there's no exchange happening afterwards. And then you just ask yourself, is it worth it? And as soon as a professor or a teacher is going into this and asking little questions, not necessarily big ones, then the process of exchange is starting. And I saw this a lot of times. So this is something that had to be improved.
So it's basically down to the professors and the staff involved in the MOOC to get this engagement going.
Maybe this is not really fair to just put this task to the professors and the team. Also, we learners should think more about why we take a course. And it should not be just a certificate by Harvard University or by some other leading institute at the end. Because what does this bring? We had the employers already. When they look at such certificates, they might ask themselves, what did this person really do? Was it just running through the course, not really grasping anything? Then it is a waste of time, and you can just leave it. So it is also us learners who have to think more about what do we want and what might others want from this course. And so we also have to get into this and be dedicated and engaged.
Great. Well, that's a very positive note to finish up on, Nico. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on this. I think your experience will both inspire and help other people who are maybe starting out or are struggling with the whole MOOC concept. But thank you very much for giving up your time to share with us.
And I hope that I can really help a little bit to inspire people to believe in MOOCs and try them.
Well, I think you've done a good job at that.
Thanks.
Okay, Nico. Well, have a great day, and thank you again.
Yes, I hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Likewise, Nico. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.